Let's be honest, December has a way of making even the most organized teacher feel like they're holding everything together with duct tape, caffeine, and the hope that winter break will magically fix everything. But here's the truth, most teachers don't hear enough. You don't need a full reset right now. You just need a few small intentional shortcuts that protect your energy and your winter break. Today, I'm giving you practical, real December shortcuts you can start using right now so that when the break hits, you're actually on break. And we're anchoring all of this in one core message: small actions now protect your winter break later. Let's dive in. Welcome to the Secondary Teacher Podcast, the podcast for middle and high school teachers juggling multiple preps to get the strategies to reduce overwhelm so that you don't have to choose between being an effective teacher and prioritizing important relationships. I'm your host, Kristen Masick, a 10-year high school engineering teacher, former middle school assistant principal, and teacher coach. Every week, we will discuss strategies, systems, and time-saving tips to help you not only survive but thrive as a multiple prep teacher. I want to take you back to my early years of teaching, specifically December, year 6. Back then, our semester didn't end before winter break. It ended the second week of January. So December felt like this long pre-final stretch where everyone was tired and I just was trying to survive. And like a lot of teachers, I leaned heavily on big December projects. In architecture, students had a small residential house plan due. In engineering, we were working on a simple assembly project with multiple parts and drawings. The projects themselves weren't the wrong choice. They actually helped me breathe. Students were working independently. I could circulate, answer questions, and for a few blessed minutes each period, actually sit down. But here's the mistake that cost me my entire break. I didn't grade anything during that project time. Not feedback, not checkpoints, not progress notes, nothing ongoing, nothing incremental. I told myself, I'll grade it later, I'll collect everything at the end, they'll have the whole break to finish it. And that assumption that students could or should work over the break wasn't fair to them, and honestly, it wasn't fair to me either. So what happened? I spent my entire winter break grading every single project. And the worst part, I already knew which students had been working and which ones hadn't. I had watched it for weeks, but because I wasn't giving points as we went, I was trapped in this all or nothing grading moment. And then came the late policies. Back then, I used the same policy everyone else did. 100% on the first day it was due, and then 10% off for every day. I remember sitting at my kitchen table during break thinking, the system is punishing everyone, including me. And that was the moment I learned December isn't the time to let everything pile up. It's the time to do small, intentional things now to protect your future self later. Now, I know that in many schools, like mine did eventually, the semester ends before winter break. My district made that shift after a neighboring district changed their calendar, and it made a huge difference. Different schedule, but honestly, same problems. I'm back in a school now, and I just watched teachers at the end of term 1 drown in grading that was entirely self-inflicted, even though they were blaming students for it. They waited until the last week to collect everything. They didn't give rolling feedback. They created their own grading prison. And I get it, because I did the same thing. If I wait until the last week, I'm drowning in grading. If I give a project, the last day feels chaotic. If I don't give a project, the last day feels chaotic. December feels chaotic because teachers try to do everything at once instead of small things consistently, which brings us to today's shortcuts. These are the highest leverage, lowest lift actions you can take starting today. Shortcut 1, grade as you go. Rolling points are greater than the end of unit avalanche. If students are working on something multi-day, a project, lab, build, debate prep, research, you should be collecting points and giving feedback as they work. Not as a punishment, not as a gotcha, but because grading is faster, smarter, and far more accurate in small pieces. Rolling grading protects your evenings, your weekends, and your entire winter break. Here's what this looks like in practice. Give 5 points for drafts or checkpoints. Note progress in the gradebook. Met checkpoint, needs revision, not working today. Use a simple 3-column rubric and check things off as you circulate. Now, because you're circulating, this is a perfect time to intervene and fix problems. So once again, you are taking care of it incrementally, but you're also making it so that they're getting full points, which means there's less for you to really pay attention to. This shortcut alone can save you hours, because when the project is due, you are not seeing it for the first time. You've already been grading it. You already know what the final score will be, and hopefully they're all getting a decent grade because you've been helping them through it. You're just confirming what you've watched happen over the past 2 weeks. And here's the other benefit. Students get feedback when they can still use it, when they've already made the same mistake 15 times. This is better teaching, and it is also better for you. Shortcut 2. Capture what worked. Your future self will thank you. This is the easiest shortcut, and the ones teachers skip the most. At the end of the day or each class period, capture one thing that worked well. Just one. Maybe it's a warm-up your students loved, a transition that saved time, a lesson that finally clicked, a game that got everyone talking, a student question that sparked engagement, a routine that felt easy. Write it on a sticky note, your notes app, a Google Doc, or a folder called What Worked December. Reflection in December is less about analyzing and more about collecting the things you want to reuse. This becomes your December to January bridge, and your January self will be so grateful you captured the good stuff now while it's still fresh. Because here's what happens if you don't. You get back from break, you sit down to plan, and your brain is blank. You either panic plan the night before, or you start scrolling Pinterest at 10 p.m. looking for inspiration. But when you've been capturing what worked all December, you walk back into January with the toolkit. You already know what to do, and you just have to repeat it. Shortcut 3. Choose one January anchor task, and only one. Your goal isn't to plan January. Your goal is to pre-decide January. There's a difference. Teachers think they need full unit plans, week-long slide decks, laminated everything, printed packets, but in survival season, you don't need a plan. You just need a start. So choose one January anchor task, just one. Maybe it's a bell ringer routine, a first week back game, a student reflection tool, a pacing guide refresh, a syllabus update, a classroom systems reset, a simple rubric you'll use all month, an AI generated warm-up routine for week 1. Put it in a folder labeled January week 1. That's it. When you choose your starting point now, you eliminate redeciding later, and that's what makes you feel in control. Because the worst part of coming back from break isn't the teaching, it's the decision fatigue. When you've already made that decision, when you've already chosen your anchor task, you walk in with clarity. Clarity is what makes January feel manageable. I want you to hear this. You are not behind. Small actions win. Rolling points win. Capturing what works wins. One January anchor task wins. You don't need more time. You need fewer decisions. And December is the month to simplify on purpose. The teachers who protect their winter break aren't the ones who do more. They're the ones who do less, but they do it strategically. And you can be one of those teachers starting today. Teacher friend, you deserve a real break, not a grading on the couch break, not a thinking about school nonstop break, a real one. And the good news, you can reclaim it with small steps. You don't need to overhaul everything. You just need to protect yourself one shortcut at a time. Until next week, take a breath, the small wins, and give yourself credit for everything you've carried this year. You're doing an incredible job. If today's episode was helpful to you, it could be for others. So make sure that you share it with your colleagues and tag me on Instagram at Kristen Masick, KristenMasick. Until next week.